Okay, how old are you?
84.
Okay. How old were you during the war?
I was 21.
Okay. Were you drafted or a volunteer?
I volunteered.
What group were you in?
I was in the 35th Division in the Army.
Okay. Were you married when you left?
No,
What was your job before you left for the war?
I was helping my dad on the farm.
What memory stands out in your mind about the war?
Well, for one thing, it kind of made me grow up, and when I left home, I was ready to go because I'd never been away from home, and I thought this should really be an experience, and it was. But I would say probably going to Europe, the combat, during the war, during the fighting was probably the most memorable thing.
What were the nights like when you were at war in camp?
They were cold. Yeah, Europe stayed cold all. It was we wore wool clothes all summer long over there.
Did you write any letters to home during the war?
Oh yes, I wrote whenever I had time.
Who did you write to?
I'd usually whenever we came back from the front lines for a day or two to rest, we had time to write letters. We wrote victory letters. They called them victory letters. They was only about I don't know, about 6 inches by 6 inches, I guess. They was photostatic. Is that what I would say? They micro something anyway. They was printed on a piece of paper, and they mailed them home. They went home quite a bit. What's called V-mail, I guess they called it, wasn't it? Remember?
V-mail.
Yeah, V-mail. I got some downstairs that
Really?
my parents saved for me and some of my other friends.
Well, that'd be nice to be able to see. 'Cause
Yeah,
that'd be
they're
cool.
only just little ones. They're not very big, but you could write a whole lot on there.
Oh, yeah.
She asked who you wrote to.
Oh, who I wrote to? I wrote to my parents and my sisters and brothers and friends. I had friends that I would write to, quite a few. I wrote a lot of letters. I always did like to write. Before the war, I belonged to a writing club, and I had a girl in Australia I was writing to, one in Chicago, and things like that. We'd write letters back and forth, so I didn't mind writing letters.
Okay. Where did you live before the war?
I lived in Barton County. It's where Great Bend's at?
Yeah.
It's about the little town of Elmwood right east of there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What was it like in the home while the men were at war?
The women had to do a lot of the work that the men would ordinarily have done for them. I know my dad was a farmer, and my sister drove the tractor, worked in the fields, and milked cows.
Were your brothers all both in the service?
Only one. I have two brothers, but only one went.
Did you get letters from any men that went to war?
Did I get?
Did you get any letters from men that were at war? Like from your brother?
Oh,
or
yes,
something?
yes.
What was it like during the battle, like the battles?
Well, the only thing I really, everything happened so fast, but you were scared, but you knew you was trained to do the job, and you just done it, Whenever they said go, you just go, and it wasn't much, you just never thought to rebel because you were trained to go obey orders. And like I said, you were scared, and you see your friend killed next to you, but you seem like it doesn't bother you as much as you'd think it would. You just kind of take it all, I guess, in stride, really.
Where were you stationed at? So you were.
During the, when I fought in the combat?
Yeah.
I was stationed in the United States, you know, and until after I went to Europe, in 1944. And then I was over there for about a year and 18 months. And the war lasted about 11 months, and then I was in the Army of Occupation, which it's just like they are in Iraq now. We were trying to get the Germans to back on their feet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't have near the trouble they're having over there, for sure.
What was your part in the war, like your job, like artillery?
Well, I was a forward observer, and a forward observer is, see, I was in the artillery, like a 5-inch gun, you know,
Mhm.
round gun. And my job was up there with the infantry to get the guns to shoot accurate up to front lines. I'd be up there like an observer, and I had a radio, and I'd tell them, you know, where they landed at. That's what I was doing.
Did you have a job whenever the men were at war?
I was a student nurse during that time.
You're like working in a hospital?
Yes, at Great Bend.
How did you feel about leaving home?
Well, I didn't, I was, 21, and I'd never been out of Kansas, and, I was ready to go. I thought it'd be experience. Of course, when I went, the war had started in the United States. I mean, we weren't in the war then, we was just going to train. And then after Pearl Harbor, which, I suppose you've heard about that,
Mhm.
well, after that, we were supposed to stay 1 year, train, and come home. Well, after Pearl Harbor, they kept us in there, and I was in there for about 5 years. I seen a lot of country, probably countries I've never seen before, or never expect to see. I think went to all 42 states in the United States, I think 5 countries.
What do you think about the men who didn't go to war?
Well, it depends upon, some of the men I would call draft dodgers, but I didn't think too much of it. But there's some men that had to stay home and do the work. Some of them didn't pass their physical, you know, couldn't help it. So there's a difference. But for those people that really dodged the draft, I call didn't go to war because they scared to, I didn't have too good of feelings about it.
Are there any questions I didn't ask that you'd like to tell me about?
Well, all I could say that before the war, we were just getting out of the Depression, and back then, where you could we'd go to town, you know, to show, maybe what was it, dime, getting a show, something like that, and then you'd buy a sack of popcorn for a dime, so you get quarters to go show. And it's just that, you know, the money wasn't available like it is today,
Mhm.
but everything was cheap too.
Yeah.
Ice cream cone, nickel, you get a big old double dip for a dime, or maybe for a nickel, I can't remember, but.
You're still like that.
Yeah. But this is, when I left home, it was right, the Depression was just starting to end.
What about the dances? That was your main form of entertainment, the dance, the community dances?
Oh, well, yeah, we'd go to dance. I think once, I'd go to dance, I think it was about once
There was a dance every Saturday night.
Yeah. I think that's Friday night over there where I was at. We'd go up there. Didn't have no date, you know. Folks would give me $1. That cost me 75 cents to get in. I'd have a quarter left. And the girls would all come by themselves, and we'd dance with them. Couldn't afford to go get them, I guess.
Can you think of anything else?
I looked, the first year in the service, I took this when I came home for a short vacation. That's the way I looked at it.
That was
But-
44?
You see them, aren't them tents in the back? That's what we lived in. They had wood about so high, and the tents is just the ordinary tents.
That says 41. Is that right?
It's a battalion insignia. It's, in other words, I lived in the 161st Field Artillery Battalion, and this is what we wore on our coats, our jackets, things like that. And this is the Bronze Star. I got that in the Battle of the Bulge when I was commissioned from an enlisted man to an officer, and I got the Bronze Star for doing some outstanding, work you call it, or wherever. That's the dog tags. Got my name and my serial number on there, my blood type. So if you got hurt in the combat or got killed, then they knew who you were. This is that's U.S. That's just U.S. Army, and this is the artillery. The pins that we wore on our coats. This is the unit citation. In other words, I was the forward observer with 134th Infantry, and they done some outstanding battle that day, and this is a presidential citation. You get president got to issue that. Now this is the 35th Division. We wore them on the left side of our coats, and then we had a helmet. The helmet, they had just taken paint and put them on there, show that we was in this 35th Division. In the 35th Division, you had like 15,000 people, or army people. Now this is I have to look. See, this is the pins that ribbons that I got during the war. This is a Bronze Star for this thing up here. See, the same thing. And well, I have to think what these are. I can't remember what the heck's that is. This is the Asiatic. Anywhere, if anybody had served in the Pacific or Europe, wore that pin. And this is represents 5 battles that we were in. It was the Normandy, Central Europe, Battle of the Bulge, Rhineland, I think occupation anyway. It was 5 battles we were in, and he was allowed to wear that ribbon. This one here, boy, it's been so long I can't remember what they all are. Anyway, these were the ribbons that I was allowed to wear on my army jacket because I'd been in the service and done all them things. Mm-hmm. And of course, this is that V-mail envelope that we used to write letters home. They called it V-mail.
And put your hand up to it to show the size of it. And put your hand out flat.
Off the glass.
To compare, put your hand up here so you can compare how big it is there.
Oh, okay. And these are a couple of stamps Mom put in. What are they in there for?
This is
One's
recent.
airmail,
Yeah, this
the
is an
other
actual airmail commemorative.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
World War II, I believe.
That was probably airmail during the war, after the war, I don't know.